Intro.
It's Halloween.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Wednesday here on Chrono Speakeasy. I'm Paul, joined with Angela,
Hi.
Will,
Spooky hello.
Rob,
Howdy.
and Jay.
Boo.
That's right. That's Jay's cue, the signal that this is our official Halloween special, where we're going to be talking about all things spooky and kooky and
It's the
Halloweeny.
Halloween Spooktacular.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Usually.
Oh, okay.
Oh man,
thought
if
we were just
only the
Halloweens.
listeners could see our awesome costumes right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
amazing.
The amount of
Yeah,
effort.
we go
I'm
all
dressed-
out just to talk to each other.
Yeah. Well, for those who can't see, I'm dressed as Sean Connery from Zardoz, and dude, my chest hair is on point.
It really is. It's impressive. I'm actually dressed as Sean Connery from The Rock. Weird coincidence. My chest hair is not as on point.
Nice. Very nice.
So I finally pulled together my Mogo costume. Of course, the living planet Green Lantern.
Oh wow!
So
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
just being a huge gravitas here.
it's beautiful.
See, Rob, I'm actually dressed up like The Rock as Sean Connery.
Wow.
It's,
Yeah.
it's,
Wow.
it's very meta, but I appreciate it.
You know what's
I had to
really
get a good tan.
crazy? I'm actually dressed up like Sean Connery as Green Lantern, so it's like full circle.
Man,
I know.
we didn't coordinate this whatsoever, too.
It's kind of we're just all on the same page. It's just funny we didn't cue like really bad Sean Connery impersonations. Although, can you imagine Sean Connery as Hal Jordan in a Green Lantern movie?
I would see
No.
It's weird that I can. Where he just be like, "Yes,
Sinestro.
yeah, Sinestro,
You
son of
must
a
stop.
bitch." Ding, 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 ding.
I kind of want to see that.
I feel like I'd want to tear my eyes out afterwards.
It could be as bad
Because,
as
like,
the,
nothing better could ever come out,
it. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
right?
it can't be as
It
bad
would-
as the Ryan Reynolds one.
That's true.
At least he gets to make fun of it in the Deadpool movie.
Yeah, I think that might be
By
like,
Ryan Reynolds.
yeah. Green Lantern is definitely, just to stay on the Halloween theme. Green Lantern is probably my favorite horror movie.
I never saw it.
Me
It's-
neither.
It's pretty terrifying in how terrible it is.
There's
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
a
it
scene
looked
that's
bad.
almost ripped out of Aladdin in that movie. He like comes his girlfriend's like on a balcony, he just comes floating down from the sky, and all I could think of was just the I Can Show You the World music playing.
show you the world.
There's one line in the Green Lantern movie that almost redeems it in my eyes, and it's when Blake Lively calls Hal Jordan out for being like, "What do you mean? How could I not recognize you? Just because I can't see your cheekbones doesn't mean I don't know who you are." And I love that they called that out and just like just finally shown that light on the problem with comic books.
No, it's true. But her acting, man, nobody could fucking hide that thing. I mean, God. Like, I think my favorite is when he's like, it's like Hal Jordan, stud muffin, like wakes up next to a girl and he's late for his meeting and he shows up and there's Blake Lively and like her delivery is just so weird. Like even she's confused. She got cast in the movie. Like she's like, Hal Jordan, you're late for the meeting with the plane. And I'm like, what is she drunk? What's going on?
Gonna be honest, I didn't know Blake Lively was a female. I didn't know who this person was. I've heard the name before.
Oh, I thought you
thought
meant
it
like
was
you
like
looked
a
at her and
country
like, is
singer.
it? I thought you were like, I look at her and I just think of Pat from SNL. Like I don't know, is it a boy or a girl?
No, it's straight. I thought Blake Lively was the name of a country singer.
I can see that though. I mean, if I didn't know any better, I think Blake Lively was a country star too.
I don't know.
All right.
Spooky Halloween.
Yeah. I mean, Blake Lively saying country music could be scary too.
You don't know that? It could
I
be.
can imagine it pretty well.
Again, I don't know who Blake Lively is. So.
I can't name another thing other than Green Lantern she's ever been in, so
Accepted. And she was big in some TV show that I can't remember which one it was.
She in like OC or California Beach Girl
One of those.
Dreaming.
One of those shows.
I kind of want to Google her now.
You should.
You filthy pervert.
You would.
I think she's pretty cute.
I'm sure she's pretty cute. I mean, I'm not sure actually. I can't guarantee that.
So Halloween Spooktacular.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Halloween, here we go.
So I was thinking about this because I've been reading a bunch of spooky horror comics lately. And I was like, we should talk about our favorite scary, spooky, creepy comics. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to think. Well, you know what? Is actually a new tradition for me. I don't think it's particularly Halloweeny, but I thought it was a little disturbing. Was Batman: Death of the Family. Like I just thought that was like just it was. I mean I interpreted that as a horror story because the Joker is just so off his rocker, more so than usual. And I feel justified in that because they recently released a Joker Halloween decoration from that storyline where he's got like his face cut off and reapplied, and he's like coming. You can make it so that he's coming out of the ground. So I feel like for the first time, DC and I are on the same page about their material. But yeah, no, I think it's a great like horror story as far as comic books go. So that's one of my favorites.
I would totally agree with that because it reminds me almost of like Seven, almost like the David Fincher movie.
Yeah.
So like I always pictured if that was a movie, it would feel a lot like Seven, which I wouldn't say is a horror movie, but it's like the scariest of thrillers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I always loved that surprise cameo by Kevin Spacey.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about the Kevin Spacey cameo in Death of the Family?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Not expecting it. But man, the art really did him justice.
Yeah, there's that showdown on the bridge, and then all of a sudden Kevin Spacey came out, and I was like, didn't see that coming.
And it's cool. It's very like a la House of Cards, where he kind of pulls a Deadpool and like talks to the reader. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
How about you guys? What's on your Halloween radar and read list and such?
So I feel like I've been talking about random books I've been reading a lot lately, but right before we recorded this podcast, I read the first issue of Witches, which is also by Scott Snyder.
Yes.
And with art by Jock, who is a frequent collaborator. He did that awesome, was it issue 44 of Batman with Scott?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I've only got through the first issue of this book, but I can already tell that it is really fucked up and dark.
Well, I've heard that witches get stitches.
I thought it was snitches. It's witches?
Witches.
People in this book should probably get stitches. There's people getting sucked into trees and stuff, and
yeah,
there's some crazy stuff going on. So I'm pumped to finish this before the weekend.
Yeah, Witches Witches has a really strong start, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Witches. Check it out.
I always love Rachel Rising. I think that's a great one.
Oh,
to kind of pick up along with Lock and Key. It's really good. I read a new one that came out, I want to say a month or two ago, that's called The Hunger House. And it's a ghost story that's about these two sisters who are kind of living in a foster house when they stumble upon this demonic cabin in the woods, and the sister is falls into the floorboards and is possessed, is eaten by the demonic force in it. So the younger sister has to burn the house down. It's really dark. I really liked it. I thought it was a cool seasonal read. So
cool.
Yeah, that
sounds like some Evil Dead stuff.
Less kitschy lines,
But those are the best part.
No.
But Evil Dead's Evil Dead, so we don't need a bunch of Evil Deads.
But the new TV show
is coming out on Halloween night.
It's gonna be groovy.
Is that on Stars or something?
I just saw a video where Bruce Campbell was talking about hanging out with the guy who played Bonesaw in the Spider-Man
Macho Man
movie.
Randy Savage.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Are you talking about the story thing?
Yeah, and Macho Man Randy Savage apparently just used to have the loudest sex right next to Bruce Campbell's trailer. And
Damn.
No, they shared a trailer.
oh, they shared a trailer. That's
Yeah,
right.
and I saw like a quote, and it said like the cream always rises to the top.
And so the reason I think about this is because this came out today in Bruce Campbell's promotion for his new Ash vs. Evil Dead TV show.
You know, not everyone has a Macho Man sex story.
That's
I wish I was that lucky.
I mean, he died for our sins, so it's okay.
Honestly, one of my favorite things to do is just watch those interviews he did in like the early 90s on like the Arsenio Hall show and stuff, where he has like what appears to be like an unlimited amount of creamers in his pocket.
Yep.
And he just keeps pulling them out.
I just sent that video to a friend of ours, and I was I had to ask him, like, where does he keep getting this cream from? It's a very good sleight of hand trick, but like, that's a lot of cream to just have on your person at one time, hidden away.
Well,
he's Macho Man Randy Savage. You can't question it.
He's the cream of the crop.
And like all the like unnecessary like breathing, kind of like the oh yeah.
Step into a Slim Jim.
This is by far the scariest conversation I've heard on this podcast.
You know, maybe
It is quite spooky.
maybe I'll get
ready.
I want a Macho Man Randy Savage costume for Halloween. Maybe I don't have the body
There's
type,
always wanted anime boss.
but I'm pretty sure I can get it going.
Just get the Macho Man shirt from like FYE and get a cowboy hat and some sunglasses, and you're all set.
Yeah.
And just breathe heavily.
Well, that was a weird tangent.
I didn't even realize that it was Bruce Campbell in Spider-Man as the announcer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's also the usher in Spider-Man 2 at the theater.
Yeah.
Why does he have an involvement with Spider-Man,
Sam
or does he
Raimi.
just like it?
It's Sam Raimi. They've been working together for years. So, and Sam Raimi directed the Evil Dead movies. So,
My favorite Bruce Campbell cameo in a Sam Raimi film is actually in Darkman, because it's just so it's very well done, but it's kind of in your face. And for those who don't know, Darkman, it was with Liam Neeson, and it's pretty much the plot for Spider-Man 2. Darkman is Dr. Octopus who has no phase, and he makes faces. So when Darkman escapes and he goes into the crowd, and you hear Liam Neeson go like, "Oh, like no matter where you go, like you'll never find me, but I'll always be there." And it's a crowded street, and then all of a sudden, Bruce Campbell does the most dramatic turnaround, look at the camera, like furled eyebrow face. And when I dug it as a kid, but since I grew up watching, to go on and watch Evil Dead, I laugh so hard every time that cameo, because it's just so like. You can't see it in the podcast, but for those who are here, it was just very like it's awesome. It's awesome. And it's Bruce Campbell doing it. It's great. It's like boom. It may as well have just like paused and said like cameo. Like it was great.
Have any of you guys ever seen I Am Bruce, the movie where he plays Bruce Campbell and he basically just ends up becoming Ash to like fight demons out of this weird like holiday party or something?
Yeah, that's cool. What was that? What's that movie he made? Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotep. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Is that when he's Elvis fighting the mummy?
Yeah.
Sold.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I met him at the screening for The Man with the Screaming Brain. And I went and I thought it was awesome because me and my friends came dressed as zombies, and he was not happy about that. He's like, "Oh, great, you get here," and we're like, "Shit," and everybody else is like normal because it's like a high-end like indie film crowd, so we're just like, fuck.
A high-end indie film crowd went to the premiere of The Man with a Screaming Brain.
Yes, this is in Brookline. Okay.
I've been to stuff in Brookline, and it's usually just a bunch of dirty Alston people.
No, it was Brookline.
So for
Well,
Ash Wednesday, who else is going to dress up like Ash from Evil Dead?
I think that's what should happen. People should go to church dressed as Ash.
Also Ash Ketchum.
Or that.
Just do a combination of the two. Chainsaw hand, Pokemon hat, Pikachu. You're all set. It's all the ash you need.
So, Will, what's on your radar Halloween-wise? Do you have any favorites you like to read or watch or listen to?
I've been spending a lot of time thinking about this, and I've come to realize that I don't really seek out scary stuff too often. I have favorites that like I refer back to. So if someone like put me down in a chair and forced me to pick a scary movie to watch, Event Horizon would be pretty far up there.
Ooh, I really like Event Horizon.
Event Horizon is a fucked up movie.
It's awesome. What a great cast too.
I don't know.
For some reason, 13 Ghosts always shows up on my list because I just really like Tony Shalhoub.
Oh, have you seen the original?
No, I haven't seen the original.
It's actually really well done and super creepy.
I just always feel bad for Matthew Lillard in 13 Ghosts because he just gets like sliced right down the middle and it's super brutal.
I just always feel bad for Matthew Lillard.
That's true.
Is that the movie where like the people get the numbers on their forehead and stuff?
No.
Oh,
That's The Frighteners.
that's the first.
Okay.
That's a great
That's a
movie.
great Halloween
The
movie.
Frighteners has one of the coolest. Is that the poster where it looks like someone's like pushing against the paper?
Yep.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I used to always see that in the horror movie aisle, and I was just like, that looks terrifying.
It's great.
It's a great
Good old
It's,
blockbuster.
it's actually the movie that Peter Jackson made before Lord of the Rings. It was kind of like what that movie was getting him ready for that. But actually, one of my favorite bloopers is actually from The Frighteners. Frighteners has Michael J. Fox, and there's a scene where he's driving a car and he's screaming and he's supposed to call this character's name and he goes, "Oh, Doc!" And he's like, "What fucking movie am I in?" I had to mention that because recently Back to the Future Day, and that was like a favorite like blooper of mine.
What
That's a
was
good
that
one.
other Peter Jackson movie, the other horror movie, where there's like a priest?
Oh, Dead Alive?
Dead Alive.
I thought it was Big Mama's house.
There's also the Heavenly Creatures
Oh, that was a
that
creepy
he
movie.
did.
That's a
that
little
with,
more
Kate
serious, though.
Winslet.
It's still creepy though.
It's
I
based
thought.
off
Oh,
a
no,
true
it is
story,
creepy,
which
but,
makes it even crazier.
I just remember Dead Alive. I wrote a paper about it in high school, I think, in my like film studies class. And just the scene where the priest is just like, "I kick ass for the Lord," and he like kicks the lawnmower up and just walks through the zombies. It's good, good times.
And now you know how Peter Jackson got the Lord of the Rings trilogy in his pocket.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're like, there's something I like this. I trust him. Let's give this guy $1 billion.
See, I love horror. It's definitely my favorite genre. So I always make sure every Halloween, it's my favorite holiday, I stock up on all the good movies and all the good books. And I've been just like creeping it up over here. It's been a lot of fun.
I always stick to tradition for the most part. Like I always watch Hocus Pocus.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
definite.
That's like a night movie, not at a party.
I always get confused as to when I should watch A Nightmare Before Christmas.
I do it like right after because the movie picks up right after Halloween.
Right. So I would try and watch it at like midnight-ish, so I get the "This Is Halloween" song right as it's transitioning into. Yeah, it's just
Ooh.
Christmas now. There's
Yeah.
no such thing as Thanksgiving.
No. Although, whenever I remember when I first saw The Nightmare Before Christmas, I remember when he's in the woods and he sees the doors and there's like an Easter egg and like a turkey. I kind of just wanted to know what like the other worlds were like.
Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to go to Easter land.
So didn't the Easter Bunny show up at some point where like
yeah,
and then it's just
kidnapped for
Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
No, I thought it was the big dumb guy who just goes Bunny.
Well, no. It was Lock, Shock, and Barrel that were supposed to kidnap Santa Claus.
Yeah,
And then the big dumb guy is just like, Bunny.
Bunny.
And I think those characters are awesome, too. Just
yeah,
shitty little Halloween kids that love to pull pranks on people.
yeah.
Back when Tim Burton made a movie that didn't have Johnny Depp or Helena Bonham Carter in it.
Whoa, it's hard to direct a movie with Johnny Depp's nuts in your like the bottom of your throat.
Whoa!
Oh, there's something going
Damn.
Guys,
It's
Tim
gotten
Burton.
to that point.
Tim Burton didn't
There's
direct that
something
movie
we
anyway.
think.
That's a Henry Selick movie. Give that man the props he deserves.
There's got to be something going on.
Yeah, there is something going on.
It's called.
That's why, like, when they remade Dark Shadows, and like I loved the TV series, and Paul's eating a Twix.
So
But
for him, none for you.
and Will's got the Milky Way. All right, candy.
Like Halloween.
I have razor blades in front of me. It's like Halloweeny.
Oh,
If you're a
Jesus.
concerned parent,
What the fuck, Rob?
I got my
Or if you're that
Dollar
psycho
Shave
that,
Club
like, everyone-
package in.
I've never done that. How is it?
It's pretty awesome.
I get the $9 every 2 months because I don't shave super regularly. So the four blades usually last me about 2 months.
I have like 6 months stock up because you can tell I shave so much.
Well, I trim my neck hair, but I mean, Dollar Shave Club, you should join. They should sponsor us.
Ooh.
I still say that we need to sponsor the non-existent DC online membership thing, so that they'll
I'm sorry, but I really want to finish my point about the weirdness of Tim Burton, Helena Bonham
Yes.
Carter,
Oh, yes,
and
absolutely.
Johnny Depp.
It's
because
weird.
I thought it was okay until I was like, oh, he just really likes working with these people. They're buddies. I get it. And then when I saw the Dark Shadows remake, which was actually like pretty good, the first half of the movie, and then it just like was like, whoa, what? But when he like, there was that scene where she like goes down on him. And then it clicked, and I was like, "Oh my god, is it like Tim Burton's fantasy to see Johnny Depp and his wife together because he sees himself as Johnny Depp?"
Or
And
the
it really
wife.
upset me.
I don't know why. I just imagine like if that was the case, like just Johnny Depp being like Jack Sparrow and doing weird things with his hands, like while like having sex.
He has a weird
Why is all
enough
the
style
run
of like
like-
wristbands.
He does have a lot of leather bracelets.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
But
It's just
what else do I
it's
do
just a
for
weird
tradition?
thing.
Apparently, he's really nice, so I'm not gonna knock him. Or Helena Bonham Carter because I love her.
Yeah,
I thought he had a good cameo in 21 Jump Street. I thought that was really funny.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Also, a
was-
great horror film.
Yeah, totally. What's more awkward than like adult puberty?
I think the scariest movie, books, franchise ever is definitely Twilight.
Ugh. Yes.
That is the scariest thing on the
Like
planet.
that it exists?
No, it's just horrifying. All across the board.
Oh, you know what's a great another comic book I like to read around Halloween. I think it's buried somewhere in my storage unit. Is it's two actually from Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb. Batman: The Long Halloween and Batman: Haunted Night.
I've never read Haunted Night.
Haunted Night's fun. It's not as good as Long. I think it's kind of like the precursor before Long Halloween, but it's definitely kind of focused on more of the spookier, supernatural elements of Gotham and Batman. And I actually just thought of another really kind of a fun, spooky comic. It's Daredevil. It's volume 12 by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev. And the art's really great. And it kind of focuses on almost like an AA meeting where you got like this priest and all these other people, and they all come together because of some weird like demon baby.
Makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Kind of like the
first of all,
Rosemary's Baby of Daredevil.
This is from like Bendis's like amazing, like critically renowned Daredevil run, and it was a really kind of fun. It's a short arc. It's only like 5 issues, but it was fantastic and definitely kind of took a weird corner in the Bendis run. But it was really good though. I just thought of that. I figured I would share because I'm sure. And it's called. If you're looking for it in a trade, it's called Decalogue. So I imagine that wouldn't really pop up in a lot of like Halloween must read list. Hence, I thought I should bring it up for this podcast because it's definitely worth a read.
Ooh, there's also Night of the Living Deadpool, where he
yeah.
fights zombies and whatnot. That's just a fun read though, because it's Deadpool and he's always wacky.
Also, there's anything by Junji Ito.
Yeah.
Vegito?
Junji Ito.
Oh.
But like Uzumaki.
Oh,
Yo.
yes. Uzumaki.
Okay,
It's
so
amazing.
I've been looking for Kawamon, which is Junji Ito's version of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I can't find it. I can only find like a few screen caps.
Ooh.
Like I see the Gengar with the spirals in the background holding the woman with his tongue, just like being all menacing and stuff like that. And like the Bennett just like following the small girl that's holding a creepy doll. But I can't find anything else for it whatsoever. I've been looking for a year. It was announced a year ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like around the same time as the Attack on Titan Avengers crossover.
Oh, yeah. Which we have yet to see.
No, that was for comic
No,
book day.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Oh, yeah.
Speaking of
But,
Pokemon,
yeah,
that one town
That's
in the
how
Pokemon
memorable that
games,
was.
real
Lavender?
creepy. Lavender Town, that music.
Yeah, that's a really good like song for it.
Apparently, that music drove some kids insane in Japan, or that's the creepypasta that I keep seeing.
I've seen that too, but I also feel like I've read so many things where Pokemon was just like physically killing Japanese children all the time and like giving them seizures and stuff. And I was just like, what is happening in Japan? These Pokemans.
Well, there's a
These
theory.
Pokemon.
There's a theory in Pokemon that your rival, you see him in Lavender Town because he has to bury his Raticate. Which, if you're unfamiliar with Pokemon, your rival has a Rattata and a Raticate the first couple of times you see him, and it's in his regular party. Then all of a sudden, when you face him in Lavender Town, he's just in the cemetery, and his Pokemon is not there. So that's the logic behind that right there.
I think what really happened, he was just like, do you know what Pokemon sucks and is not good on my team anymore? Fucking Raticate. I don't care how good Hyper Fang is. It's super inaccurate, and
Whoa,
I'm just
you never
saying.
did the Trainer Joey challenge where he says Rattata is the #1 Pokemon of all time.
I used to keep a Rattata in my party with Quick Attack so I could beat people with a Rattata sometimes and make them feel bad. This is just recently.
I saw someone beat like a level 60 Onyx with a level 6 Rattata.
If it has one health and you got Quick Attack, man, that shit's going down.
I think he did like
Pokemon.
Hyper Fang or Super Fang, something like that. Took down his health and then did Quick Attack and beat him. It's ridiculous. I don't like that logic.
Fellas, this all sounds really spooky and scary.
It is.
I'm just saying, in the Pokedex, in that game, it talks about how Cubone wears the skull of his dead mother around.
That's true.
Which is super weird. It's just this little Pokemon with a dead mom skull.
Which, like, their Marowak's skull is just an exo skull.
It's weird, man.
So you'd think it would look like that. Unless there's 2 layers of skull.
So, to continue this, the theory that I heard is that a Cubone is a orphaned Kangaskhan baby.
Yes, that's one of the theories.
So the Kangaskhan skull becomes the Marowak head.
Okay.
I like all these crazy Pokemon conspiracy theories there are out there. Or
They have to make the game more interesting.
I read like a 10-page conspiracy theory about Batman vs Superman. Did anybody else see this?
Oh my god, yeah. That Ben Affleck is really Slade Wilson.
Yeah. Who put that much time in it? It was like reading a 9/11 conspiracy.
Dude, that was a long article. Yeah, because it was like how it all takes place in the Nolan universe. And the reason why it's Batman v Superman and not Batman versus VS is because
it's the fifth
it's
in
the
the
numeral
series.
for 5, because it'd be like Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, Man of Steel, 5th being Batman versus Superman.
I was just
And
waiting.
that Jared Leto's Joker is actually Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Robin,
Yeah.
because
It was just the thing I was like, first off, they would never do this because what they don't realize is that this movie's target audience is not nerds. It's just people willing to spend money. So if they did all this weird stuff and made him not Bruce Wayne, the audience would just be like, I don't get it. This is dumb.
yeah.
Right. I think they're really just trying to make these movies seem more interesting than what they're going to be.
I'd like to think that conspiracy theory was written by like Zack Snyder. He's like, I need to build up hype.
No, you know, it would be great if it was like a if it was like a number 23 scenario where like one of us actually wrote the conspiracy theory but didn't remember writing it because we went so insane we forgot about writing it. So when one of us tracks us down and realizes, oh my god, I wrote this, you snap again and forget. And so it's just like a random cycle.
When did I post this on chronospeakeasy.com? When did I do this?
Oh my god.
But seriously,
And it's like tear down my wallpaper and it's all the conspiracy theories written in red crayon.
It's just ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
it's just Joker laughs and it just says like jet fuel can't melt steel beams and you're just it's like go all down the rabbit hole.
That is see, I like that. So that'll be
so spooky stuff.
Yeah,
This is the most like weirdly tangential, like off-topic episode ever, which is perfectly fitting because I'm so sleepy.
Well, one thing I was going to bring up, one thing I used to read when I was a kid around Halloween was the old Tales from the Crypts comics.
I never read the comics, but I used to watch the movies all the time.
The comics are great, and there's a great edition out called Grave Business, and it's by Graham Ingalls and Arthur Feldman. And it's some of the stories that they wrote together from those old like horror comics of the 50s, and those are one of my favorite things to read around Halloween time. Especially, it's just like good, fun camp. And this is like right around the time. Remember, there was that controversial issue where you see the guy holding the axe and the girl's head. You don't see it disembodied, but it's implicated that it is. It's from that era, so it's a lot of fun stuff to read in that too. So I think we're probably beaten to death the whole spooky comic book thing. Maybe we could talk about Halloween movies, maybe, or scary movies.
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus.
I
love
to
Hocus
talk about
Pocus.
Pigeons from Hell.
What's
so talk
Pigeons
about
from
Pigeons
Hell?
Talk about
Robert E. Howard short story, and they made in 2008. They made a comic book about it, and it's fucking awesome. I don't think it's still in print, but if you can find it, definitely read it. It's called Pigeons from Hell, and it's super fun.
There's also like all the gore and like action manga and stuff like that, like Berserk and Dorohedoro.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Oh,
was going to
Drifting
say
Classroom.
Berserk.
Yeah, Drifting Classroom, huh?
I was going to say Berserk, except that I can't keep up with it because it never comes out.
Well, it comes out like once a year, if that, for a chapter, but it's always like 30-something pages.
Yeah.
So at least there's that.
You know what I just thought of? That's a great, spooky, kooky Halloween comic. Remember that time in the 90s when Captain America became a werewolf?
Vaguely.
No.
That's a thing. You can get that. I think it's called Bad Moon.
That's a funny name.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just imagining like Chris Evans having a werewolf transformation scene like in American Werewolf in London.
Oh, that was such a creepy like transformation scene.
Dude,
It's
I
the
think
best.
An American Werewolf in London, I think, is one of the best werewolf movies, and I think it's one of the best horror movies. And one of the reasons why is because there is no CGI in it. Everything that is happening in front of an actual camera lens, and that's why I think it still looks believable. And and I think I was going to say too, what a dream for an actor. That's probably the one time where you can really overact, like just go
Yeah.
fucking crazy, scream, shout, whatever, and it's convincing.
Nicolas Cage was just born in the wrong decade. Like Nicolas Cage in the 80s where overacting was just essential would have been different.
Well, he was in the 80s.
Well,
Yeah,
he did a good
but-
horror movie that was ridiculous. I think it was like Vampire's Kiss.
Oh, Ghost Rider?
Yeah, Vampire's Kiss. I remember
That movie is amazing. If you can like YouTube just like Nicolas Cage best of Vampire's Kiss, he like yells.
I'm a vampire.
Oh.
He yells at a wall.
One of the almost all the best Nick Cage gifts come from that movie.
He uses his couch as like his coffin. It's amazing.
Okay, I have a question. Angela, I think you would probably know. What's the Tim Curry like musical Halloween thing?
Oh my
Right.
god, that's from The Worst Witch.
Okay.
And you can also
Oh,
Google that Tim
God.
Curry Worst Witch. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's rough.
I've seen like the music like scene from that with Tim
Oh.
Curry.
I like him in front of the green screen.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
so
God.
cool.
That's hard to watch. That's I
For what? I could watch that for like days.
have fun, Jay.
I will. It's almost
You know what's also something fun I like to watch around Halloween is an old '70s show called Kolchak the Night Stalker. And I'm sure I've mentioned this before because it was the inspiration for X-Files. It's about this reporter who works for an rinky-dink independent newspaper service, and like each episode is him getting some wacky case, and in the end, nobody believes him. Like he's investigating vampires and werewolves, and the best episode is him having a theory that Jack the Ripper is still alive, and that's actually genuinely creepy for a '70s television show because it's very well filmed and lit, and it's just I'm sure you can. I don't know where you could find it. I know it's on DVD, but I'm sure you can find it online somewhere. But
I think it's on Hulu.
Yeah, Kolchak the Night Stalker is awesome.
Really, it's on Hulu.
I think I've seen it on either Hulu or Amazon or Netflix. Like it's streaming on
I
one
can
of
imagine
those.
Amazon. That would make sense.
It's worth watching because Darren McGavin, who is the father in A Christmas Story, he's Kolchak, and he's incredible. He's so good in that show. And I think if I had $1 million, well, probably more than $1 million, and the rights to Kolchak, I would make that into a movie with Bryan Cranston because he would be like the perfect casting for Carl Kolchak.
I'll have to check that out. Did any of you guys ever check out Another?
No, what's that?
Another what?
Thanks, Paul. It's that series, like anime series, that's about like the classroom that has an extra student in it, and because the classroom is cursed and stuff like that, and every month, either a classmate or a direct family member from the classroom will die. It's really cool and has really great creepy art in it. They use a lot of like not filled in colors all the way, so it gives a good tone for it being like a spooky, constantly cloudy atmosphere. And there's a manga for it that does a really good job.
That's cool.
Yeah, stuff like that's always creepy. Like when there's just someone there who shouldn't be there.
Right.
Yeah.
And they
Like,
use like Japanese dolls a lot too. Dolls
Yeah.
are so creepy.
Ooh, so creepy.
Did
you guys ever play? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna
Rob?
ask. Did any of you guys see VHS, the first one, that like anthology
Yeah, I
movie?
like that one.
But
I thought it was way better than the second.
yeah, I did probably. I don't remember which
Rob's like,
which one had. No, I don't know. I think they're both pretty good. But the first short in the first one, that has like the succubus girl in it with like the super creepy eyes.
Yeah,
Do you remember
it's
that?
totally a succubus, right?
Yeah, I would
I
assume
got into
so.
an argument with someone that they said that it was a vampire, and I was like, how?
No, it's succubus.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
totally
it's totally a
succubus.
succubus.
But I remember like there's just it shows like the guy walking into the bar and they're just like filming around, and like in the background you just see that girl with those creepy ass eyes, and I'm just
Just
like,
staring.
and I was just like, there's something's not right.
And
That's
she
cool.
shouldn't be
how
here.
how she constantly just goes, I like you.
Yeah.
Oh God, they did such a good job with that first one.
I hated the beginning of it though, when they were just like running around like flat, like pulling up girls like shirts and shit.
Yeah, that
Like
was really
I
terrible.
hated that. I hate anything that like really is just obnoxious, like violence against women for no reason.
Yeah.
Like the Hills Have Eyes remake. I didn't even finish it because I was like, okay, there are 3 female characters, and within the first 10 minutes of it, they all experience the most extreme violence and like sexual assault. Like a guy holds a gun to a baby and forces his mom to give like him head. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, turn it off. I'm done.
I remember with that anime series Psycho-Pass, that's like really, really popular. I'm not going to knock it or anything. I've never seen it, but the very first episode, which if nobody knows it, it's a series about like people trying to like police officers keep order based off of people's mental stability. And the very first episode, a chick gets raped and is like freaking out because she just got raped, and they're going to kill her because she can't handle the situation.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And
That's
so
not
I just refused to watch the series because of that.
Yeah, no, that's a good reason to stop watching. Like, ugh.
And that's why I've been kind of happy that like the found footage craze has kind of taken over because it kind of took it away from the shock value that horror movies were going for. Like, say what you want about Paranormal Activity, but that movie did a great job with so little. Nobody got raped.
That's like
love the first
$7,000.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, they accomplished so much with like so little bloodshed.
I mean, in the second one, like they had so many great shots that was like, how did they do that? It was so good. Like,
I think the first 3 Paranormal Activities are really good movies.
yeah, I'm with you.
The first one, just some of the stuff, it was so creative and just so scary, like, because there's literally nothing there, but like the scene where the girl's standing there and like just like something like blows on her hair and it just moves a little bit, and it was literally just the look of hair moving and stuff that was just super creepy.
Well, and what it did, I mean, because one of the things that's so great about horror and as a genre in film is the music plays such a huge monumental role in film, but horror really hinges on the music. And some of the most memorable like sound effects and just scores are from horror movies. Like, I mean, everybody knows the Halloween theme.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, so with the Paranormal Activity movies, I mean, it was literally just a sound, like a low hum, and when you heard it, your skin crawled, the hair on the back of your neck stood up. I mean, it was so brilliant because you knew some shit was going down with that sound.
Yeah, and to kind of reinforce Angela's point and to take it back to An American Werewolf, one of my favorite parts is when those 2 guys, the friends, they're walking on the moor, and it's one of the most intense parts of that movie, and there is no music, and it's great because it really demonstrates like the space that they're in, just how like open it is. And I love that to go away from music for a second, you don't even see the wolf, like you just hear it howling, and when it was great.
Well, and when you don't see the villain, it's really awesome too because they did that with the first Alien. You never saw what it looked like, so it was even more horrifying.
In a little bit of a scary movie that's not scary in the traditional way, a movie that has entirely no music that's still terrifying is No Country for Old Men.
Oh yeah,
I still haven't seen that.
You should, because it's a testament.
I've had it on Blu-ray for like a year.
It's amazing at some of the scenes because there's no music, and I kind of didn't realize it until after the movie had ended.
Yep.
But there's still some terrifying moments, even without having to rely on the music to get you into it.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm kind of a D-bag when it comes to like horror movies. I love the first Paranormal Activity. I thought that movie was so creepy and good. I watched the second one. I was dying laughing at some of the scenes.
Really?
Yeah.
See, because when you couldn't figure out when the sister shows up, and you can't figure out if all this stuff has happened already, or if it's like before. You couldn't figure it out. You're like, why is she here? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it processed for me.
And everything in the kitchen.
Yeah. But like the very ending scene in that movie, when like the sister just shows up and like the dude's just sleeping on the couch and she just like walks over and the neck, and I was dying laughing at that scene.
Yeah, I think
I was just
the
like,
ends
that is the
have all
most
been a
obvious
little.
thing.
Yeah, the ends have all been a little obvious and on the nose and stuff, but all in all, it's just I like how creative they are with trying to like do spooky ghost stuff within the cameras.
Bad for the dog.
I still think nothing will be a better horror movie than Jason X.
Oh
I
God.
never saw that.
It
Jason
definitely-
in space.
No.
Jason in Space. It's so good. It has, in my opinion, it has the most brutal on-screen death of any horror movie ever.
When he freezes the person's face and smashes it.
Yes, that is exactly the one I'm talking about.
That is the
And
only
also-
kill people remember from that movie.
No,
I don't
the
remember
funniest
that
the funniest kill in any horror movie ever is in that, where he goes into the holodeck and they have like 2 teenage camp counselors there who ask if he wants to engage in premarital sex and drugs. And then it cuts away and cuts back to him beating one of them with the other one in a sleeping bag.
Yeah,
That's kind
pretty
of
funny.
cool.
Wasn't the leprechaun in space too?
Leprechaun went in the hood too.
Yes, he did. Oh my god! So unfortunately, Chandler's not here. He was on previous shows, I think, but he's the only other person I know who has watched Tales from the Hood.
I've seen Tales from the Hood.
You've seen it?
A long
Oh
time
my
ago,
God.
but
Oh my god! Because it's like I don't know any white. You're the first white person I know who's seen that movie.
Jimmy saw it.
Well, yeah, you're right. Jimmy has seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie is hilarious. It's basically like Tales from the Crypt, but with black people, and it is a riot.
It is
I have
super
to
funny.
see that. Do
One
you guys
of my-
remember Critters?
Yes.
Those movies are really good. That was the first. Critters 3 is the first movie that Leonardo DiCaprio was in too. Critters in Space. And the second one where the Easter Bunny guy got eaten from like inside of his own suit. That was really cool. No. Okay, no one wants to talk about this one. Go back to Tales from the Hood, I guess.
Have any of you guys ever seen The Strangers?
Tyler?
Yes.
Yeah. That one always stands out for me as just being like super, super creepy. Because that's another movie that doesn't have a soundtrack. It just has like a ambient tone, like bass basically. Like when I was watching in the theater, like when creepy stuff was happening, the bass would just shake you, so you just feel really unsettled the whole time. And there's no like crazy over the top lighting. It's just very dark and creepy. And anytime people are in masks, it's usually pretty creepy.
Record is one of the few
Yep.
zombie movies, apart from like Night of the Living Dead, that actually scared me. Because usually when I watch a zombie movie, I'm just like, okay, if I was in this situation, how would I deal? And it's more like action than I feel like horror. But Record is a Spanish film, and I guess they tried to do like an American version called Quarantine, and it wasn't as good. So fuck that one. Just go see Record, because the end of that movie
So scary.
still freaks me out. Like if I think about it, I get like goosebumps. That was so creepy.
I watched that movie in Suffolk University's library and on my laptop, and I was surrounded by students like studying and stuff, and I was just on this chair watching horror movies one day. And I just remember still freaking out at the end of that movie because it was so creepy.
Oh my God. Like when you see it, you're just like,
you're just,
what the fuck
what
is
am I
that?
watching?
Oh God. It was so
I want to
awful.
watch this now.
You
I'll
should
have
watch
to
it.
check
And
that one out.
also,
Oh.
it kind of benefits from the foreign language movie thing where you can't really tell if they're bad actors or not because you don't really understand what they're saying.
Okay.
So, like, it's like if you watch... I don't know, I get this way when I watch a lot of foreign movies where if they, like, a line falls flat or something, you can't really tell just because you don't really understand what they're saying anyway.
Right.
But, goddamn, it's a
That
creepy-ass
movie
movie.
freaked me the fuck out. Yeah, there are a few movies that like really just get under my skin where I'm just so scared. But yeah, Record was definitely one of them. I was thoroughly upset after watching that.
For me, it's okay, so I have a fear of clowns now, or I've had a fear of clowns like ever since I was 7
Yeah.
because of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh yeah.
The
I know
episode-
exactly what episode you're talking about.
The blue stuff comic
Yep.
book clown. Yeah, that
Oh.
I can't watch that to this day. And that's like just terrifying and like
Yeah.
well, you go.
My fear of clowns goes back to Brave Little Toaster, which is just as terrifying, even though it's supposed to be a kids' movie.
But like I watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space recently again because that's a really
That's a
good
fun movie.
That movie freaks me out. Those clowns are so creepy. I hate them.
I never understood the fear of clowns. I just assumed that they just look like crazy people when they're scary.
The movie
Yeah.
It was what did it. Like anybody who has a phobia of clowns, it's probably because of the movie It. That movie. No, well, you know what's really creepy
the
about?
first It movie. The second one, not so much.
I didn't even know there was a second
I also
one,
didn't know
so
there
I
was a
was
second
like,
one.
ew. But no, I mean, what's creepier than like kind of like a grown man in face paint, just who wants to just make kids laugh? It's like really
Tim Curry,
creepy.
right?
There's something inherently wrong.
It
With
was
it.
Tim Curry as It.
Mhm.
Well, wasn't
I
there
was-
a real life serial killer who used to be a clown and kill
Yeah.
kids?
Yeah.
Was it?
John Wayne Gacy?
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy. He
Fucked
can
up.
buy his paintings.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna no.
I have enough nightmare stuff.
He didn't like dress up as a clown and go kill people, but that like he was a clown who
Oh,
also killed people.
you know what's a great story with scary clowns in it, and it's actually set in Southie, is a Dennis Lehane novel called Darkness, Take My Hand.
Sounds
That
familiar.
is really good and really creepy with creepy ass clowns. And I love the title, Darkness Take My Hand. Like it's
I've
awesome.
never heard of this.
There's nothing
awesome.
good with clowns. They're all terrible.
It's from did you guys see what was it, Gone Baby Gone?
Yes.
It's from that same series. It's that same
okay.
detective. But yeah, it's set in like Southie and Dorchester.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really good. And I know it scared me because I knew the locations. Like, I can see the place from my house. Oh my god!
You just look at the window. There's just clowns out there. You're just like,
Well, have you heard about that? That there were these sightings of like people just walking around in clown gear at night.
See,
Oh, yeah, they're supposed to be like prank videos, and they'll have like the fake human corpse and like huge hammer, and it's like a melon or something like that they smash, so it looks like blood splatters out, and then they'll just chase the people.
See, what I don't understand about these kids and their prank YouTube videos is someone's gonna get shot.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
remember the zombie guy?
Yeah, he got a gun pulled on him.
Yeah, he got shot at, and then offered heroin.
But like, I watched some of those prank videos, and if I was one of those people who like carried a gun around, and some of the pranks these people do, I'm just like, I'm surprised that they don't at least get a gun pulled on them, something, because they do terrible things to strangers.
Yeah.
Terrible,
they totally do.
terrible things.
Yeah, it's no joke.
So remember, kids, when you're trying to get 1 million views on YouTube, be smart about it. Don't do it in Florida.
Speaking of kids, that's a weird transition. One of the movies I used to love when I was a kid around Halloween. Do you guys ever see Monster Squad?
Yes, absolutely.
No, but it's on Netflix now.
Oh, I love Monster Squad. It's like the Goonies, but with like the Universal monsters. So you have like Creature from the Black Lagoon and like Frankenstein and Dracula. It doesn't make any sense, but I loved that movie when I was a kid.
I actually hear that new Goosebumps movie with Jack Black is like very much in the vein of Monster Squad. And like if you're a little kid, it'll probably be your generation. It's like I have no interest in seeing that movie, but I hear it's actually really good for that type of kids movie.
I heard there's a lot of puns. So I'm going to love that movie when I see it.
But I saw Crimson Peak last week, and if you're a fan of Guillermo del Toro or just those other couple of like Mexican directors who make just like creepy movies, but at the end you're just like, oh, like have you ever seen The Orphanage? Anybody?
Yeah, I have.
So like The Orphanage is really creepy,
that,
and then at the end of the movie you're just like, oh, how sweet and sad.
Yeah, I heard that Crimson Peak was more of like in the vein of like a gothic romance.
Yes,
like almost like written by one of the Brontes almost. That's sort of the impression that I got from it.
That's exactly what I would describe it as like a gothic romance, because it's very like high romantic, like the atmosphere is like awesome. There is ghosts and they're really creepy, but it's like it's not a story about ghosts necessarily. It's just it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you like Guillermo del Toro or if you've ever seen like The Orphanage or Pan's Labyrinth, that type of movie.
I've had both those movies ruined for me because people would just tell me the ending.
Aww.
That stinks.
Pan's Labyrinth is still amazing, regardless of the ending's not even that big of a spoiler, really.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so
You should see it. It's pretty good.
You should see it anyways, because the ending doesn't
It's
really.
a crazy good movie.
Yeah.
But one of the other things, like Monster Squad, I guess, one of the things I used to love watching as a kid was like the Scooby Doo.
In the Harlem Globetrotters, I know.
No, not that one. The one where they have to like they're the new teachers at the school for the like kid monsters and stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about?
I don't think I've seen that one. I used to watch Scooby-Doo stuff all the time too.
They play it all the time. They used to. It was so good. They had like Dracula's daughter. Well, I guess they're all daughters, I suppose. But like werewolf, mummy, ghost, and there was some evil witch that was trying to brainwash them and use their powers for evil. And then there was like what was it? A Boy Scout camp that was their rival. And then they became best friends at the end. It was awesome.
You know what I think is underrated, speaking in like the spooky kid movie vein, is Monster House.
I was going to bring that up actually because that movie is awesome.
I think it's underrated. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. It was so good.
It was a really good
Wasn't that Dan Harmon?
Yeah. Dan Harmon was, I think he wrote it.
I think he wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote the screenplay.
With Steve Buscemi as the old weird neighbor.
And Rob Schraub, yeah.
That's like,
I loved it because it's. I mean, I'm sure it was CGI, but it looked more like kind of like the claymated kind of feel to it.
yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like my favorite type of like kid Halloween movie where it's just like a bunch of kids around something spooky just going on stupid adventures. Like have you guys seen Paranorman?
Yes.
Because Paranorman is incredible, and it's like that is stop motion
movie.
and it is beautiful.
It is such a good movie.
Yeah.
How many horror genre self-referential jokes are in Monster House? Because if Dan Harmon wrote it, I'm guessing it has to be a lot.
I guarantee there's a bunch. I'm pretty sure the end of it is just like Poltergeist.
I'd have to watch it again, but there is, I thought, some legitimate creepy situations in there because I remember bringing it to a Halloween party I went to I think 3 years ago. We watched it, and then that whole bit when he's having the nightmare and his room turns red and the shadow of the house turns into a hand to strangle him. Everyone was like, "Ooh, Jesus, Paul, what the fuck is this?" like it was sort of unexpected.
Put Human Centipede back on, God.
I do want to say before, because I know it's starting to get to that time, but I do want to say before we sign off, for those of you listening, or if you guys haven't seen them, there are some great classic horror movies that I think are awesome this time of year. The Uninvited, House on Haunted Hill, 13 Ghosts, The Haunting. These are all movies that were like done in like the 50s, 60s around them. And they're amazing. And I think they totally blow the remakes out of the water. So
I think we're all forgetting the one really important horror gem, and that's Ernest Scared Stupid.
You read my mind. I was really gonna bring that up like right after Angela too. That movie had me so scared as a kid with the like goblin thing. I actually I remember a nightmare that I had as a little kid with it.
Really?
Yeah. In my nightmare, the goblin guy showed up, and like he captured me as like one of the kids I was going to turn into a doll, whatever. And for some reason, he didn't turn me into a doll because I don't know. And, like I was trying to like run away. He bound me with a tree and like at my ankles, so I couldn't run any further. And then I tried screaming out for help, and he took away my voice, so I couldn't speak. And so it was just like me reaching out, like not like almost third party viewing of myself, just like reaching out, screaming, like trying to scream.
Jeez.
And then like he speaks in his evil goblin voice thing, says like I can say one thing, and I like try and scream out help again. It just like goes help. I was like 6.
I've had that nightmare.
Very
I think the thing I take away from Ernest Scared Stupid is that no movie has made me cry the way Ernest Scared Stupid. Because I remember when you think that Rimshot, his dog, gets turned into a little wooden doll and wouldn't turn back, that broke my heart. Of course, Rimshot gets revived, but I was like, I remember my dad had taken me out of the theater because I was so upset about that dog.
Yeah. It's always sad when anything happens to like an animal opposed to a person. Well, no, I'm not saying opposed. Like, you feel more sad because it's happening to an animal.
Well, in the Gremlins, when the dog's tied up in the Christmas lights, I was so upset.
Oh, yeah.
I still don't understand the rules about gremlins. You say that you're not supposed to feed them after midnight. It is always after midnight.
Technically. He didn't say what time you could start to feed them.
I think it's like late night snacks.
Maybe when the sun rises.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's like a global positioning thing. Wherever you are, relation to the moon.
Just don't pour water on them. Or just sunlight. Kill the gremlins that way. But the second movie where they had all the like science experiment ones and stuff like that, the like spider one was scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that was a fucked up movie. No, because like they find the guy, like that girl's story about her dad in the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
That was fucked up.
They got away with a lot in Gremlins too.
I feel like just in general back in the day you could get away with a lot more in film.
Yeah, just look at Goonies.
Yeah.
guys, I found the
Those
best Halloween movie
people were trying
ever.
to kill those kids.
Never say die.
Okay, so there's this movie that was straight to TV in like 1991. I finally found it. It's called The Last Halloween. It's about 4 aliens that come to Earth looking for some weird thing that they turn out is candy, and they call it Kubi or something the whole time. I used to watch it. I had it recorded to a VHS tape at my grandmother's house, and after much Googling the past 5 minutes, I found it. It's called The Last Halloween, and I will post it on the website because it's on YouTube.
What do the aliens look like?
Really bad CG. Like,
do they have like rings around them?
Yeah, one of them does.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember it too.
One of them looks like Marvin the Martian, but worse. Yeah.
There's also Halloween Town too. That's always a fun.
I liked
for
Halloween
Disney Channel.
Town. That was cute.
Yeah.
I didn't like the second one, but the first one was really good.
Yeah, I like the
Trick
first one.
or treat.
Trick or
Yeah,
Treat
Trick
solid.
or Treat.
Good, yeah.
From
Okay, I watched,
the
just
writer
the
of
other
X-Men
day.
2.
I felt so bad. I don't know why lately in movies I just feel bad for characters. Like I like the whole bus scene, I guess.
Oh, I know
Oh,
those
yeah.
I was
kids.
like so sad for those kids, and like the one that got out, that was just like, I want to go home. I want to go.
I know.
Just like,
Yeah, that was a
what the
rough part.
fuck? This isn't scary. It's sad.
Yeah. I think
watch this
It's
movie.
just, I think it's a good, fun, like Halloween movie.
Yeah,
It's,
it
like, really
captures
fun.
Halloween very well.
Yeah.
Has anyone else seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
oh,
I love that
yes. Love that movie.
That was just
Yeah.
a series of like bad timing and misconceptions.
Yeah. Well, I
It
love when he's trying to cut the wood in half and the bees come out and he's got the chainsaw and he's going crazy.
And if you're looking for another kind of campier, funnier horror thing, there was this great short-lived Canadian TV show called Todd and the Book of Pure Evil. Has anyone else seen it?
I've
I've
heard
of
of
it. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it, though.
So it used to be on Netflix. It's not anymore. I think that you can now get it on iTunes or Amazon or Google Play. But it's essentially about high school kids who find the Book of Pure Evil, and the Book of Pure Evil will grant them whatever they wish. So, like, the metalhead gets a guitar that lets them make people bleed out their assholes. The Mormon girl gets a birthday cake that eats other people, but only on their birthdays. And Jason Mewes plays the wise stoner janitor. So it's like, it's fun and it's slightly horror based, but it's mostly like a parody of the horror genre.
Did you guys see the Rick and Morty where Rick and the devil interact?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a really good one.
And then the Purge parody from this season was pretty funny.
The Purge.
All right. Well, now it's that part of the show where we sing.
And you will see in
This
this
town
town of Halloween.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
I don't know the lyrics to this.
Halloween, 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 Halloween.
So please like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Give us some stellar reviews on iTunes.
Let us
to
know
us on YouTube.
what your favorite Halloween media is and
Yes.
why we should watch it, and then we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What Will said.
It's probably The Last Halloween, though. And I found it on YouTube, and it's only 20 minutes long.
Oh, God.
In my head, I was like, oh, it's this great feature-length made-for-TV movie. It's 21 minutes.
So it was an episode, Rob. That's called an episode.
But it was just one-time thing.
Can I just
whatever.
ask you guys if you remember the Christopher Lloyd Halloween thing where like people are turning into ghosts and stuff? And like
Piranha
there's
3D?
jack-o'-lanterns. It was on the Disney Channel like years ago. I don't remember the name of it. I'll have to IMDb it or something like that. But I remember that was a thing. Or I just made it up and I'm going insane thinking of great movies.
It's probably that one, but cool.
Well, on that note, enjoy your issues.
Spook-
Enjoy your
Halloween.
spooky issues.